The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
Welcome into Talkin Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, and the SWBC Studios, baby. We've got the whole cast and crew ready for you to rock today. Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Isaiah Stanback.
That is I.
Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans.
Cake to the wizard, no chili.
You can't say, I don't know if you can say that on air.
Definitely can. We're on the
Can
internet.
you?
Well,
Okay.
it's too late. He said
And we can eat your oats on the internet too.
it's
You said
You
what?
can get your oats on the internet.
You can get your oats on the internet.
You can do that.
Get that,
do that.
on the internet, too.
That's right.
No doubt about it. Welcome in, everybody. Glad you're with us. Lots to catch up on over the last week.
Like what?
because Right now, in Indianapolis, Indiana, the NFL Combine is underway, which means information is flying around the NFL. There's a lot going on across the board, whether it's from a front office standpoint, from a draft standpoint, scouting, players, coaches, all sorts of stuff is kind of happening all at the same time in Indianapolis. And we're going to break it down for you as we go along here over this next hour. But before we get into any of that, the biggest news of the week after we were last on the air, Zack Martin is expected to retire, the 7-time first-team All-Pro, 9-time total All-Pro, and first ballot Hall of Famer, I would like to say, moving forward. I mean, there's been 3 Cowboys in franchise history that have had 7 first-team All-Pro
Who are they, Kyle?
nominees. Randy White,
pretty good.
Bob Lilly, and Zack Martin.
The Manster, Mr. Cowboy, and the Gob.
There you go. And the first 2 were what? They were first ballot Hall of Famers. So,
Next
of
stop,
course,
Canton.
Yeah, next stop Canton for Zack Martin. It's just a matter of when, not if, his career comes to a close. We kind of alluded to it a little bit last week, and there was a feeling around the building that it was done. Missed the final 7 games due to injury, and it felt like it was the right time to ride off into the sunset. The offensive line has some depth that they can work with behind him. They played well without him up front. Not the same as strength and prime Zack Martin, but still, it was a bummer to see that his career is coming to an end because it was a hell of a career to watch.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for the large majority of last season because, just more and more as it went on, you saw what used to be a resident Iron Man in Zack Martin. I mean, it's not so long ago that we could point at Zack Martin and know that every single snap, every single week that he would be on the field. And just over the past season plus, I'd say, his body just started to kind of not let that be the case anymore, and his play suffered because of it. And unfortunately, we saw a situation where Zack went down with a season-ending ankle injury, and Brock Hoffman, to his credit, was able to come in and stabilize things. But if you're talking about losing Zack Martin and gaining stability, that tells you where he was in the career. So incomparable career. I cannot thank Zack Martin enough for what he did for this organization. I hate that it's another legend going out without some jewelry.
Yeah.
But it does, in fact, not only end the Zack Martin era, but it ends that particular era when we're talking about Tyron Smith, Zack Martin, and Travis Frederick. Frederick having retired after 2020 to the GBS. So, yeah, it was time, most certainly. And like you said, Josh, next stop is Canton.
For sure. I mean, when I think of Zack Martin, I always think of the draft party that was at AT&T Stadium. I was at that draft party.
Were you really?
I was at that draft party, and I remember the crowd at the time. Our pick was up. We were on the clock. Everyone's chanting,
Johnny.
Not Zack Martin.
Yeah.
They were chanting Johnny Football. And I was there like, no, please, no. And Zack Martin's name was announced, and there was a flutter around the room. The room being AT&T Stadium was like, who's that? But ended up being one of the greatest Dallas Cowboys ever of all time. I will never forget that moment when we drafted him, feeling confident about like, okay, we like what we have here. Let's build behind a great quarterback that we already have and protect him. To me, the legacy of Zack Martin for that to happen before I started working here, and then for my very first season to be the Zack Martin holdout at camp.
Time is a flat circle. Time is a flat circle.
Time is a flat circle. At least personally for me, obviously his legacy speaks for itself. It really does. And seeing him out there each and every week, knowing confidently he's not going to get a holding call and he's going to play his ass off, right?
That's another thing. Ridiculous stat you dropped.
What is the stat, Kyle?
Stat,
So
repeat it. Repeat it for the people.
Number of first-team All-Pros, I outlined that earlier, 7. Number of accepted holding penalties throughout his, 11-year
11
NFL
years.
career? 7.
Ridiculous.
He had the same amount of first-team, not just All-Pros. He actually had more All-Pro nods than he did accepted holding penalties. But first-team All-Pro nods, he had the exact same number, 7.
Insane. And his legacy speaks for itself. Like I said, next stop Canton, obviously. But it is interesting to see how the offensive line is going to change now with Zack Martin moving on.
I think that this most recent year was a transition piece for them. I mean, I think, how he's going out is obviously not the way that he wants to go out, but I think it's more beneficial for the Cowboys organization. But in terms of what he's been to this organization, you guys have already hit on it. You guys have already touched on everything. He's an amazing human being, first and foremost, great family man. What he did on the field, what he did for his teammates, and what he did for this offensive line for all these years, you always knew that you had one solid piece that you never had to worry about. And whenever you can have somebody on your team that you don't have to be concerned about, whether or not they're going to come prepared, whether or not they're going to come with the right mindset, and whether they're going to deliver in terms of performance, he is that. He is that guy, and he has been that guy for the Dallas Cowboys, and he will get rewarded for that, and to ensure that everybody going forward forever and ever will always remember who he was in the league.
So that's platinum awesome. Standard.
I'll be the first to say, you're welcome on Talkin Cowboys whenever you're ready to be an official host of.
We might have to get
Cowboys
a bigger chair for him.
He's a large human.
That's Gob is a big boy.
If this chair over here can fit Nate Newton, we'll be all right.
That's
Yeah.
First dibs on Zack Martin.
Yeah, we called it. Yeah,
He's gonna be.
There's gonna be an extra mic right here if he wants it.
Yeah.
For shizzle.
I don't see Zach as that type of personality.
What do you mean, Kyle?
He's not Jason Kelsey. He would. I think it's more likely he would go into coaching than it would be broadcasting, and I don't think either one of them is possible.
Either.
I think he's gonna just
Family.
hang out.
Family.
Yeah, I think a testament to who he is as a person and what he's done throughout his career to kind of earn that point. So yeah, whatever he ends up doing next, we certainly wish him the best. And I think there's going to be an official announcement at some point because all of this is reports and that he had told the team and that was kind of the initial stuff. There will be an official announcement, and another thing to keep in mind, there will be a cut because his contract is still there, and even though he's what is it, an exclusive rights free agent or one of those?
Zach?
He's got void years.
He's got a void year.
How does
what it is.
How does that work in regards to the cap? Do you guys know when somebody retires? What does that do to their contract? Because it's not like just cutting somebody, right?
The rest of that guaranteed money is on your cap. Spread out over those void years, I believe. It would save you actually cap space.
Because it's treated like a prorate.
Yeah.
So you don't take the entirety of the remaining hit as a one-time sum.
It's amortized.
Right, exactly.
So overtime. Like you said, there will be a cut, first off. So don't be alarmed whenever it says, like it pops up and there's a Bleacher Report.
Don't do it, Kyle.
I'm not going to do it. There's a Bleacher Report notification that Cowboys show 10-time Pro Bowler, and 7-time first-team All-Pro the door. Somebody's going to do it. Don't click on it. It's stupid.
Don't click on
it. Yeah, shut up. Just don't click on those things.
Procedural.
Part of it. So with that being said, and Isaiah, you kind of alluded to this earlier, what's next for the Cowboys offensive line? Where do you go from here?
I mean, I think we've been hearing some murmurs, don't know anything until obviously these guys start stepping on the field for OTAs and the draft is done and free agency kind of goes through. I don't think you have a full understanding, but in regards to who we currently have on this roster, it's sounding like, I say sounding like. They like Hoffman potentially at the center position, and they're planning on moving Cooper Beebe to the right right guard position. That's what I'm hearing. Again, it's all rumors. We don't know until they step on the field and we see a ball snapped. But if they were to do that, that makes sense because they were trying to teach Cooper Beebe to play center, and that's not his natural position. Now, obviously, there's a void that was not there originally.
Right.
If Zack Martin,
wasn't in the cards.
It wasn't there before. So now, if he does walk away from the game of football, now there's a large. You see what I did there? There's a large void there at the right guard position. So I can move now Cooper Beebe to his more natural position, and I could put the Brahma Bull with his hand on the ball every play.
So I'll read to you guys because Stephen Jones and Tommy Yarish is in Indy right now. He beat us by a couple of days. He's doing sensational work. He spoke with Stephen Jones, and Stephen Jones,
man. Hey.
Stephen Jones basically echoed a sentiment that Connor Riley told us in availability early last week. This is a quote from Connor Riley, which, if you don't remember, he is now the former offensive coordinator and offensive line coach of Kansas State University, which is, where did Cooper Beebe go?
I
believe it was Kansas State.
Yeah, there you go. Manhattan, and we ain't talking about New York.
Yeah, Little Apple, not the big one.
Right. And I quote, I think one of the best things about Cooper Beebe is his versatility. He was a two-time All-American at guard for Kansas State, started some games at tackle and right guard, ... He gives us an opportunity to find the best fit for everybody up front, end quote. This is Connor Riley, your new offensive line coach, previously an offensive line coach for Cooper Beebe, basically letting you know that they're going into the OTAs and mini camp and training camp looking for the best 5 up front. So as we have this conversation, Cooper Beebe is still the center, but it does sound like, to your point, Isaiah, that could change. It's a very fluid situation. You might see Brock Hoffman go over the center, but it's also contingent upon what does or does not happen in free agency, what does or does not happen with the NFL draft. But you love to hear this from Connor Riley, kind of heard it from Clayton Adams. You're hearing it echoed by Stephen Jones. Cowboys are no longer going into this situation saying, well, no matter what, he's going to be here, he's going to be here. I think the only places, I'll say plural, we have 3 places. We know Terrence Steele is at right tackle.
Yep.
We know Tyler Smith is at left guard. And I'll go ahead and say Tyler Guyton is left tackle because Tyler Smith is left guard. Yeah. So as far as center versus right guard is concerned, I think it's going to be a battle, and Connor Riley and Clayton Adams, they're going to figure out what the best front 5 looks like.
I mean,
which is what fans have been wanting for so long.
For sure. Well, I alluded to the question last week, and honestly, it wasn't because of the lingering Zack Martin future. That was not in the cards for me. Right. I was genuinely curious before Zack Martin is not going to be here.
Yeah.
Does 12 sound like does offensive line sound like a pick they would make at 12? This was before all of this happened. And now I'm like, okay, well, this kind of seems like that is a clear indication to me that it's a spot you look at for sure.
I think if the right player is there at 12, they'll take him there. But I don't know if there's that right player in this draft. If any other draft across the board, I think I would say Dallas in this same scenario, because I completely agree with you. I think in this scenario, you would say, let's build for the future. Let's build around Guyton. Let's build around Smith. Let's build around Beebe. And we'll have 4 guys up front that we are very confident in, and then we'll figure out the 5th spot. I guess Terrence Steele would probably be that odd man out there in terms of value draft picks and value of youth moving forward. Whereas this year, I'm looking at this offensive line class, and we've talked about this a couple times on the draft show. There's just something that's not clicking for every one of these top offensive linemen. Now, there's a couple of them, but those couple of them probably aren't going to make it to 12 because they don't have any red flags on them. But if it's a red flag from a medical or a size or a position fit or whatever it ends up being, 12 might not be right for
gas mask.
We can make that happen if it turns out that we need Kelvin Banks or somebody, Will Campbell or some of these other guys. Whoever it ends up being up front, I think there's 10 in the top 10 picks of this NFL draft. I think there's going to be 1 or 2 offensive linemen, and you're going to have your pick of the 3rd or 4th, 5th best offensive lineman in this draft class. But if you were to compare that to the 22, 23, 24 draft class, I think your 3rd, 4th, 5th best offensive lineman in this class would probably be more like 8, 9, 10 in those other classes. It's just not the same.
I'll make mine quick, and I'll throw it back to you guys. I wouldn't go offensive line at number 12. I just wouldn't. And I don't think that the Zach news changes that for me because that's where I was standing before Zach was expected to retire, and now that he is expected to retire, my needle doesn't move as far as would I go, offensive line at 12? No. In this situation, and Kyle lays it out perfectly, when it comes to this class, I would be much more comfortable in a trade back situation if you're hell bent on getting an offensive.
I'm down for that.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, I would trade down, get more picks, and then go OL. I wouldn't just go outright at number 12 for OL. I'm reserving number 12 for an Ashton Genty if he's there, or a top shelf wide receiver if he's there, and you just know that if you move back, you're going to lose out on that guy. But offensive line, I think that because I've seen what Brock Hoffman can be, I'm comfortable enough to kind of sit tight there. So either it's a trade back situation or it's something that you address in the second round.
But I think it also lends itself to choosing the best player available at 12, regardless, because there are positions.
DPA is a thing.
There are positions in need all over the board, across the board for the Dallas Cowboys. Jay Stees on YouTube says, "Leave BB alone.
Put him at center.
He's got a full season at center, man. What are we doing? Hoffman is a good backup."
I'm kind of in that camp, but
I'm not.
why is that?
Speak on it.
Because I just think I don't believe that is a natural position for him at the center position.
He was better than Hoffman at center.
Okay.
And that's where I'm at.
Okay.
He was better than Hoffman at center.
So then why swap is what
is why. So why mess with it?
I like BB's frame better for guard.
Okay.
I like him better at guard. I don't know that if I'm gonna have a Brahma bull in this kitchen, right, of 5 offensive linemen, I want him at center.
Brock.
I want Brock at center.
Okay.
I want that mentality at center because that person touches the ball every single play. That person is going to be the point on every single play versus having that person offset to one side or the other. That's just me.
So you're just talking about like glass eater, aggressive mentality.
Yes.
Okay.
You had that with Tyler Biotish, and it didn't necessarily work out.
He's working out somewhere else.
True. But it didn't work out here.
What was?
that could
Let
be
me ask you a
coaching.
question though. What was Brock Hoffman's worst game last year?
I would have to go back and look at it.
I want to say it was the Philadelphia Eagles.
Gotcha.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
And you would have put him at the center against a team like that twice a year?
Listen, this coaching staff that we're now have in place, these guys are supposed to be Jedis when it comes to the O-line.
My question would be this, and this is the question the Cowboys would have to answer in this scenario. Is the career, and they had to answer this for Tyler Smith, is the career for Cooper Beebe, does it have a higher ceiling at guard than at center? Because if it's at guard, then I'm with you putting him at guard, and then maybe you draft your center if Brock Hoffman, if you need an upgrade over.
So it's the way you view the ceiling.
It's the way you view that. If you think that his ceiling, being Cooper Beebe, is higher at center, then you leave him there and you leave Brock Hoffman at guard. I think that's the crux of what the argument's going.
I'm gonna literally put the trust in these coaches. I'm literally putting
considering who we're talking about, Connor Riley and Clayton Adams.
Feel pretty good about that.
Listen,
let them cook.
Listen, I can have an opinion all day long, but I think those guys have a good idea. If they're coming in and it sounds like they're moving Cooper Beebe to right guard, then I have full confidence that that's the most advantageous position for him and the offensive line.
So just going back to the conversation of Hoffman and where he might fit specifically, let's just go to PFF because we don't have the film in front of us right now. But Pro Football Focus, over 39 pass blocking snaps against Tampa Bay. That was his worst graded game. He gave up 3 pressures. He gave up 1 sack, 1 QB hit, and 2 penalties in that matchup.
2 months.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
One game.
One game, that's a ton.
And 39 snaps. He gave up basically 6 different things that went wrong. Now, that snap, he took all 60 at right guard. Took it all at right guard. So that goes back to your point.
Yeah.
His best graded game of the year was against Cincinnati, where he only allowed 1 QB hit along the way over, let's see, it was 36 pass blocking snaps, and those were all at center.
Yeah.
So something like that could play a factor.
Yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to the coaching. Like I really believe that most fans, okay, this is no shots fired, this is just an observation, don't put enough emphasis on development and the coaches' roles that they're supposed to play in an organization. And for this team and Coach Schottenheimer to have brought in 2 O-line specialists, 2 people that's what they do, right? Your offensive coordinator and now your offensive line coach. That is their wheelhouse. Like, that's where they feel most confident. If they said they can be better than you at anything, they're both going to say coaching O-lineman. That's awesome to have both of those resources on one team.
You might have 3 guys like that.
Yeah, you might have 3. I'm looking forward to seeing now players and what we've seen, right? We can go back and look at what they've done. And if you have somebody like a Brock Hoffman who's an absolute dog, right? Which is what every coach that's spoken on the offensive side of the ball has talked about the mentality. He talked about the physicality. I'm just talking about him. I'm talking about the character of this and identity of this offensive line going forward. Violence, right?
Is the word.
All those things, right? Like, you want that. He has that naturally or innately has that. Develop it now. Develop it, right? You talk about people are ready to write off right now, like Terrence Steele. People are ready to, let's move on from Terrence Steele. We know Terrence Steele ain't no punk.
Right.
Terrence Steele ain't no punk. That's one thing we know about him.
Be that because he was maybe initially, and now he's not.
T. Steele has never been a punk. T. Steele always wanted to smoke, right? Always wanted to smoke. That's one thing.
I think back to the one game against, what was it, 21, was it Washington, where he was kind of off to the side, and somebody got into him on the offense. It might have been Martin. It might have been Zack Martin that got into him. I'll have to go back and do my research. But I'm going back to 21, where it was rookie season, just kind of getting into it, trying to work it. Or that was his second year. Okay. Then he didn't let it happen again. From that point forward.
Sometimes you got to sometimes you need somebody to slap you upside the back of the head.
Yeah, you got to learn from there and move on.
Well, from that point, we never had any question marks about his willingness and his dog mentality. Develop him. Right, I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys come along, because where they're at now is not where they're going to be when the season starts if these coaches are masters at developing players. The one aspect that you can't control is a willingness. I can't control your will to want to get better. If you have that work ethic, will, determination, mentality, if you have all that, now it's on me to go ahead and help that flourish.
Well, I was going to say, the question becomes, is Brock Hoffman just a stellar backup center?
That's a good question.
Or could he be an actual consistent starting center? Because I think that it could go, when it comes to Cooper Beebe, the beauty of Cooper Beebe is that he's proven himself a starting center. Even in year one after transition, he's proven that he can get better and better, and he can be probably a Pro Bowl center in this league. But he could probably be an all-pro right guard, which would make him the definitive successor to Zack Martin. And if that's the case, you don't really have to sell me on moving him to right guard. I'm fine leaving him at center if that's what they choose to do.
Sure.
Let Clayton Adams and Connor Riley.
That might have been in the plans from the beginning, though. If this Cooper Beebe is our 3rd round draft pick, we'll put him where we can use him now, and then when Martin's done, move over.
And then you put him at right guard if that's your plan. But then I look at Brock Hoffman and I say, okay, exclusive rights free agent this year, they're going to keep him. Okay, restricted free. My point being, his contract is starting to right. You need to know what's going on for the future at center. Yeah. You use an early day 2 pick.
They very well might.
Center, and then there you go.
Yeah, they very well might.
There you go.
I don't have any doubt that they will address offensive line. It's just that early.
Not with that pick. Where they address it.
Yeah, not with
because where they address it will dictate if Brock Hoffman is going to be a starter on this offense.
And how they address it.
Ooh, segue.
Ooh. When we come back, Stephen Jones had some choice words throughout his combine week out in Indianapolis, talking to the Dallas media, including our very own Tommy Yarish. We'll talk about his words. What does it mean, and where do the actions start from here? We've talked about that a couple times as well. Actions speak louder than words. When can we expect some action? I think this week you'll see some. When we come back with more Talkin Cowboys right after this.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. This portion of the show is brought to you by Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Quaker Oats, trusted since 1877.
Buy your Quaker Oats using the Quaker code in the left-hand corner.
Did you see that?
It looked like you were
went the wrong way.
It looked like you were saying no see to smell your finger.
That's not what I was thinking. I was thinking you were pointing to your right, and then it's on the screen to the left.
It's on my...
that side. Yeah.
It's this way now.
Yep.
Quaker code's over there, buddy.
That way. Yeah, that way. I love it. I really do. All right, Quaker code, Quaker Oats, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Isaiah Stanback, and Kyle Youmans, Chris Beam in the back. Again, we've talked about this before, but YouTube is now streaming live.
That's right.
The fun part about YouTube and very soon to come to the Cowboys Now app, there's going to be live chat functions.
High five.
That we have the ability to interact with at the moment and kind of see it in live. So love you guys. Get to interact with everybody that's listening as well. We appreciate you tuning in. Be respectful in the chat.
Blocked and reported.
Yeah, you will get blocked if you do something stupid.
And reported.
So there's parts of that. But be nice in there. Let's have some fun. We appreciate you guys as always. You know who's having fun right now?
Talk to him.
Enjoying his first ever NFL Combine.
Who that?
Tommy Yarish.
Tommy Yarish.
Thomas Yarish.
In Indianapolis. He's covering the Combine for us this week, doing a great job out there. And he was
Tommy's a beast.
Off the plane and working yesterday. Actually, he was working before he was on the plane. He had an interview. We'll talk about this.
Yeah.
Draft interview in a draft blog that's up on DallasCowboys.com. He had an interview with Alfred Collins, the defensive tackle from Texas, and it happened at about 5:40 in the morning as they were waiting in the gate for their flight to Indianapolis. He said, "I'm grinding.
Attaboy.
I'm in here.
The worst they can say is no."
Yeah,
it was a Longhorn,
guy.
to be fair.
Yeah,
so I think there's a little bias and there's a little bit.
It's both bias and then a little bit of connection too, because I think you knew him beforehand, so they were able to kind of talk through it. But it was cool.
Tommy Yarish knows people.
Yeah, Tommy does know people. That is true.
Callers.
So one of the big things that came out of yesterday, which of course the drills don't start until later in the week. Thursday's the first day of drills.
And I'll be there tomorrow.
Bang.
Oh, you're
Okay,
going?
so Patrick's getting out there.
He had to do Talking Cowboys
First thing in the morning. That's one of the reasons
Private eye. Okay.
I got a show to do.
Yeah. So,
Unlike
anyways.
Tommy.
Exactly.
Skipped out on all his responsibility.
Combine starts for drills on Thursday, but the entire league is out there except for Patrick right now. The thought process is now this is where all that information is coming from. And Stephen Jones was a big thing in that information pool yesterday. What were some of the takeaways, Patrick, from Stephen Jones yesterday that kind of perked the ears of Cowboys Nation?
Well, let's see. Should I be selectively aggressive? In
Yeah,
how
be
I pick this
selectively
content?
aggressive.
All right, let's leave.
Is that going to be all in this offseason?
Unfortunately,
is that going to be
that's the new quote.
freaking thing?
That's the new quote. Based on how social media reacted to it. So I'll read it.
Go ahead.
All right. So this is Stephen Jones yesterday. He was asked about the approach this offseason, and he said, and I quote, "We're going to look at everything we can. We're going to be selectively aggressive." there are things in this league you can have certain amount of resources they allow you to have. We'll look at that, but we're going to improve this team. We're going to expect to have success next year, which is this year. And then, of course, out of that parse and parcel, everyone ran with the selectively aggressive portion of it, which is unfortunately, Kyle, that is going to be this year's all-in.
That is
this
exactly
year's version
what
of
it's
all-in.
gonna be.
But, Stephen Jones, when he talked about free agency and just how they're going to approach it, he also volunteered the thought process of a potential trade. He was like, trades are
He brought that up on his own.
Yeah, he brought that up unprovoked. So trade is going to be a possibility for the Cowboys. What does that look like? It does not look like Micah Parsons. Let me just say that right now. What does that look like outside of Micah Parsons?
Jonathan Mingo.
You already traded.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, we already did that.
Why would you bring up that?
Sorry.
The fourth round pick is still trauma to me. Like, wow, they did that, huh? They did that.
You're not even on the draft show either.
Jeez. So, what does that look like as far as a potential trade, getting someone in here? What assets might be required to do that? Who are they looking at going after an outside free agency? We'll know that here in a couple weeks or so, once legal tampering begins. We'll see exactly how selectively aggressive the Cowboys are going to be, because routinely they're not players in the first week of free agency. They try to let those overpays pass and then get the tertiary rounds. Sometimes they're not even active.
The Dorrance Armstrongs of the NFL.
We'll see if that changes.
He's doing well.
He's doing well. I don't know about
Dante's doing much better, though.
They're both doing well.
Yeah, they are. We'll see if that changes. So the Cowboys are looking to be more aggressive in free agency, be it selective or however you want to word that. They're going to talk with Osa Odigizua, his agent. That's one of the biggest keeps. You got to figure out how to keep Osa in the building. I don't think it's a franchise tag situation, but I hear that transition tag's not off the table at $18 million. We'll see. But the fact that they're hefty. It is hefty. The fact that they're even entertaining that possibility lets me know exactly how badly. Yeah, it lets me know how badly they want to keep agent 0097 in the building. They talked about, Stephen Jones talked about definitely wanting to keep Jordan Lewis. Not breaking news. We know that they want to keep Jordan Lewis. And they're going to have conversations with DeMarcus Lawrence's agents at the Combine as well. So those top two defensive linemen, as far as on the current roster, Cowboys are going to start those talks. And Micah Parsons, it sounds like the Cowboys are as open as he is to trying to get a deal done sooner than later. Love what Stephen Jones said about the difference between the CeeDee Lamb negotiation, the Dak Prescott negotiation, and the Micah Parsons negotiation.
Yeah.
When you were negotiating with Dak Prescott, you were playing the market. When you were negotiating with CeeDee Lamb, you were playing the market. You had Justin Jefferson out there. What does that look like? When does that fall? When it comes to Micah Parsons, you don't have that to contend with this year. It's Micah Parsons' world as far as that market is concerned.
those leaves don't need to fall. Come on.
All in, leaves falling.
Come on.
Trauma. Can we? Root. So, I don't know. I doubt that it'll happen before free agency.
Just root.
I am Root. Oh, my God.
I am Root.
I am Root. I hate you. It's we would love for the Michael Parsons deal to happen before free agency so that cap money can be freed up for spending.
Okay, what do you...
Don't know that it's going to happen.
Yes or no, is it going to happen?
Micah?
Yes, before free agency.
Before free agency, no.
No?
Yes.
Now, before training camp, ask me that.
Before OTAs?
No. Ask me before training camp.
I think that's 50-50.
That's right around where you would expect it?
Both before OTAs.
Before training camp, Kyle?
I think it would be before practices start at training camp. I mean, I could see it as like a Trayvon.
fair.
I could see it as like a Trayvon thing where like they get out to Oxnard and then they sign it like when they get there. Same kind of thing where it was like very.
What days free agency start?
Legal tampering is March 10th, and then March 14th is going to be.
I thought it was the
15th. 15th.
Okay.
Is when you can.
Will Micah Parsons get his new contract before March 15th? Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
What do you think?
I would like to say yes.
But are you
that's
going
not
to
what you
say
asked.
yes?
So there's two
You know what?
questions.
I think
Will
that
we
we
like
just gave no. Okay, listen.
You gotta give a yes or no,
they are
too.
going to be selectively be aggressive and sign Micah Parsons before so that they know what they're dealing with and what they can and can't go get.
I think they'll pull the other triggers that buy them time. They'll pull the Dak trigger restructure. They'll pull the CD trigger restructure to go ahead and get the money on the books right then, which then allows them the time to maybe go to OTAs early summer negotiating this deal because this is going to be a complex.
I think it'll happen. I don't feel great about it, but there's a number of reasons why I believe that it's advantageous for the Cowboys to pull that trigger. Obviously, well, not even just the salary cap, right? Obviously, understanding what money they're going to have to play with going into free agency.
Sure.
There's a lot of big time free agents. There's a lot of trades.
I would love for that to happen.
There's a lot
because it sets the table.
Absolutely, it sets the table.
It allows you to do that.
Yes.
Do I think it's going to happen?
Understood.
No.
But they also want him to be here for OTAs. They also want him to be here for voluntary workouts, all those things. I don't want to say you have to, but you would like to incentivize him
to get here
and put him in a position. Go ahead.
I got a bar real quick.
Okay.
Not only does it set the table, but it actually gives you more food to invite more people to the party. You know what I'm saying?
So. Yes.
No.
I think the quicker you're able to get it done, obviously you're going to have. You need folks to come in, free agents to come in before training camp. We don't need to do this whole rigmarole again.
And you have a brand new coach. The last thing you want to be dealing with is his contract of the arguably the most dominant player at that position, right? And the other guy is up for trades, right? So you start talking about how do we want to start this offseason?
Yeah.
Do we want to start this offseason with contract talks? No, I don't want to start this season with contract talks. Do I want to start this offseason not knowing how much money I have to go be selectively aggressive?
Nope.
No. Do I want to start this offseason not knowing what our salary cap position is going to be? No. These are all things that you can literally nix.
Yep.
You're in control of your environment that you're creating for this new coaching staff. Set them up, set this organization up for success by knocking it out. You already said you're not competing. You're not waiting on nobody. You are in negotiations with that person individual. There's not waiting on nobody else to set the market. Go make it happen.
And he's already told you, and he's made it public, that he is willing to take less to make sure that this deal gets done and that there are more people that can come to the table and eat. So I love the way you put it. You're competing against yourself right now, which should make for a much easier and more efficient. It should grease the wheels, right? So
there's no reason to wait. At this, I guess what I'm getting at is
break.
Well, there's no reason why you would wait. There's no beneficial reason as to why you would wait to get Micah Parsons done.
Of all things to be aggressive about, select this, please.
Listen, we've seen DeMarcus Lawrence, Dak Prescott on multiple occasions, hell, DeMarcus Lawrence on multiple occasions, and now CeeDee Lamb on his first occasion of a second contract negotiation, where it was always reactive. But then we saw them break rank and get proactive with a guy like Trayvon Diggs. Mm-hmm. Pull a Trayvon Diggs this time. Break your usual and make this happen fast.
Since we're setting the table and since we're serving some food for free agency, it's time to break bread, everybody. Let's go. Let's start breaking bread and breaking down the bread so that way we can dish it out to Micah Parsons and everywhere else across the board. All right, when we come back, I want to hear about Isaiah's combine experience. The former player in the room has a very interesting thought process when it comes to the NFL combine. Plus, we've got some interesting intel. How about the intel after this from Isaiah's time at the combine? More to come with more Talkin Cowboys.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we're going to overtime.
Erica, how much have I spent on concessions? For questions about their money, Dallas Cowboys fans can turn to Erica, the virtual financial assistant in the Bank of America mobile banking app. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/Erica by your side. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Erica responses may vary. Digital tools featured require downloading the mobile banking app and may only be available on select mobile devices. Erica is a mobile feature only available in the English language. Your chat may be recorded and monitored for quality assurance. Message and data rates and additional terms may apply. Bank of America, N.A., member FDIC.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Welcome back to Talking Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. We've got Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. And on this panel, we have a Super Bowl champion. His name is Isaiah Stanback.
Oh,
yeah, sorry.
Nor did I.
Yeah, neither did I. Super Bowl champion, Emmy Award winner Isaiah Stanback. Some would say he's pretty intelligent when it comes to the game of football.
At times.
But we've got something for you.
What's that?
When did you go to the Combine?
2007.
So the 07 NFL Combine. We're almost 20 years away from that.
No, don't say that.
You guys have like a class reunion coming up? Or?
I hope not. That's a long time ago. Where are they now?
Hang out with Brady Quinn.
So 2007, Isaiah's in Indianapolis. He's hanging out and he's doing a bunch of things.
A lot of interviews.
A lot of medical checkups as well that you've talked about extensively on this program before.
A lot of tests.
A lot of tests, including one that's an IQ test. It's called the Wonderlic. If you've never heard of it before, it's a test that most teams, it's pretty standard across the base of the league. It's given to these players, these draft prospects, and then handed out to each of the teams and the scouts. Then use it to kind of see where the general cognitive ability is for these players in math, vocabulary, and then reasoning. So they've got a couple different categories here. It was used by the Navy during World War II to determine candidates for pilot training and navigation. And now it's used to determine who's good at football. So
I did not go to the military.
Some of the highest Wonderlic scores in NFL history. How about McAnally?
McAfee. Whoa.
No, not McAfee. That would have been awesome. It was a punter.
It was a punter, though.
This guy, the Pat that I'm talking about, is a punter.
Oh.
Kevin Curtis was one of the highest wide receivers. He got a 48. It's on a scale of 50, by the way.
Forgive me if I'm wrong. Byron Jones, did he not score pretty high on this?
Ryan Fitzpatrick, quarterback, was a 48.
Bearing the lead, bud. Come on, man.
Burying the lead. What are you talking about?
Go to
we know
go to the very bottom.
The very bottom.
Air Force, that's for sure.
Where it says
average QB
lowest scores.
Oh, yeah. I was getting there, Beamer.
Well, he just said
Ryan Fitzpatrick with 40.
So the lowest score was actually a former Cowboys draft pick. Morris Claiborne got a 4. And there's even an asterisk on there. Like it could be better.
He explained why.
He was later diagnosed with a learning disability, so that plays a factor into it.
Yeah.
But there's some other ones on there that were low.
Not a good test.
Darren Davis, Oscar Davenport, Frank Gore, Vince Young. These are all guys that scored under a 6 in that. So we, for the first time, are going to divulge Isaiah Stanback.
I've never heard this.
Wonderlic score. He's never heard the number.
Never.
He doesn't know what it is. And we're going to try and rank it against some of the others. We're going to see if it's above or below the average Wonderlic score from some of these other individuals.
Bring it.
Both by position and then by normal, everyday job title. So we've got like engineer and cashier, bank teller, nurse, some of these different things along the way. Beamer.
Yes, sir.
You have the Wonderlic
I have a source.
A Beamer bulletin.
Maury.
I have a source. And it is a 23.
Oh!
I'm in the middle.
He's right smack in the middle.
Hey.
You were wonderfully average. Well done, my
You
guy.
are average.
God.
All right,
What's the average for a quarterback?
Sensationally mid.
Okay.
So bad.
Okay, so
Who's the dummy now?
the average score by a quarterback is 26. So you're 3 points below the
that.
average. But you played a lot of wide receiver.
That's what I'm saying.
So you played wide out. The average is 20 for a wide out, so you're 3 points above the average
I'm a
for a wide
tweener.
receiver. How about
All right.
that? Let's compare you.
What can he do in life?
Yeah,
in
what can I do in life?
You are an electrician.
Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with
There's money right there.
that's a solid job.
That's a really good job.
Dispatcher, like a police and EMT dispatcher.
Damn, you good under stress. I like it.
I can see the
You're
the way
just
you went after those guys on those solar panels.
You see that right there?
Yeah.
See that?
Richard, yeah.
You're just a tad underqualified
bro.
to be a secretary.
Oh,
You could have installed your own EV charger, buddy.
Organization skills.
A librarian was 27.
27's a librarian. They read a lot. Part of it.
This is hilarious.
Okay, you're also even with nurse. You could probably be a nurse.
Yeah.
That's good. 23 is the average score from a nurse.
Wound care.
Some of the ones that are below
He says
you
turn your head
on
and
this,
cough all the time.
bank teller, cashier, firefighter, mechanist. Those are all below you. Firefighters, yeah. Above you are teacher, reporter. Executive, accountant, programmer. And then the highest, at least that's on this list, is like a systems analyst, and that's a 32. So that's like the highest everyday person score.
I'm glad that I'm average.
23.
Sensationally.
The source texted me. He goes, he must have been cheating. He got a 23.
Got a 23.
Oh, wow.
Isaiah is selectively average.
Bro, I don't even remember those tests.
You don't remember like any of the questions or anything on there?
Not at all.
Do you remember like taking them?
I do.
What was the process like?
Oh, bro, I don't remember that specific one. I mean, we did a lot of brain analyzation. Yeah. They tested us on everything. It felt like you were doing the SAT times 10. It was it was one of those things where you're going through. You're like for what? Like why?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Why you don't remember?
Which is why you don't remember taking it. Because I'm not a test taker. At that, I stress out about tests. So I'm lucky I even got a 23. Yeah. I mean that whole process was weird. I mean that leading up to the actual physical aspect of the combine, that's at the end of your week.
Yeah.
Like everything else is really a blur. Like it really is. Like all the test taking it was a lot, man. It's a lot of stuff that you had to do. The medical for me at that point in time was really where my mind and emphasis was at because I couldn't do a lot of the physical stuff. I was coming off of surgery that to remove screws out of my foot. So by doctor's orders, I wasn't supposed to do any physical activity. I was literally my foot was still swollen. So getting, poked and prodded on by doctors and, imagine being in the middle of a ballroom at a hotel and, they have a table and literally all the doctors, they would come out, you walk out there and they announce your name. And like, all right, Isaiah Stanback, boom, 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 quarterback, University of Washington. And all right, have at them. And literally all these doctors get up from their tables and they walk out there and they all start like poking and grabbing on you and any injury that showed up on your list. They're literally trying to, get you to show pain. Does this hurt? Does this hurt? No, does this bother you? And I'm like, I just got out of surgery, bro.
Yeah. Like,
it all hurts.
Bro, like it all hurts. But like you can't show that, right?
Yeah.
So like you're trying not to show any sign of weakness while they're analyzing you because anything can hurt you if you wince, if you blink, if you like anything, right? Like they're gonna get you for it. So that portion sucked. Standing out there, in your chonies in front of a bunch of people with clipboards, sitting in bleachers, that does not necessarily the most comfortable thing in the world. Sitting in the pod, a little pod, for body fat analysis, putting a little scuba hat on. There's a lot of things like that, but a lot of the conversations that you have behind the scenes, that was the stuff that you remember, the jokes and, you're trying to make fun of the situation. It's a high stress situation that you really have no control over.
Do you have any friends that you still like talk to from combine times? I know it happens. It's like a weekend at camp, right? Like,
just name a few of the people you were hanging out with.
Yeah, I was in the quarterback's room for the most part, right? So we had myself, John Beck, Troy Smith, Brady Quinn,
John
Marcus
Beck's son
Russell.
is in this draft.
No way! Wow,
Make
popped
feel
out quick. Yeah, so there's a lot of conversations going on, and then you get to the physical aspect, and I couldn't do a lot of the things that I wanted to do because I was coming off of surgery. The fact that I was even invited to the combine after having played just 6 games in my senior season.
Just kidding, no relation.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I was trying to make you feel like it was 20 years ago.
Nah, you're good. I was frustrated because I wanted to do the 40. Like I had ran track and became the fastest quarterback in the nation, so I wanted to show that. And I couldn't, right? I actually texted my track coach this morning. I was like, "Hey, coach, with my 100 time, what would I have ran in the 40?" He was like, mid 4.3s. I said, "All right, that'd have been nice to, that'd have been nice to run." But I threw. I wasn't supposed to against doctor's orders because I was like, "There's no way that I'm going to be on this platform and not show something." So we need to dig up some old throwing footage.
I'm on it.
Yeah, that should be fun. But no, great experience all in all. But it's fast. It's a fast week, man. It's in the meetings. I mean, they try to tire you out. You're in meetings until past midnight, depending on who you are. You have a lanyard that on the back of the lanyard that has every day. And then at a certain time, once you're done with all your testing for the day, after you have dinner, it's like, okay, you got to meet with this team at this time, this team at this time. And you're literally going room to room, meeting with all these teams and coaches and front office execs. And it's stressful, man.
Do you remember your bench? Do you remember how many you benched?
Yes, I didn't hit enough. I was frustrated. That was a whole situation.
Would you guess over or under his Wonderlic
Josh
scores?
knows.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you know it already. What do you know? Or what do you
over? What was the Wonderlic?
Over and under the 23 of the Wonderlic score for his bench press.
445s right there, buddy.
He said he was frustrated though.
Yeah, I was very frustrated. I should hit more.
I'm still going to say over.
Another quarterback beat him though.
Still going to give him the over.
It was under. It was 22.
I tried to give you,
but it was close. It was a close one. Beamer, you said another quarterback beat him?
Yeah, and he's pretty mad about it. Actually,
who is it?
We talked about it this morning.
Brady Quinn
got a 24.
You let Brady Quinn beat you in the bench press?
He's G.I. Joe, bro. That's what I literally call him. He's a walking G.I. Joe figurine.
No, I'm done. That guy. You ever see that commercial?
He's a walking. He's a specimen. He's a physical specimen for sure.
He was damn good.
It all
at Notre
worked out
Dame.
for you in the end.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, Melvin in the chat said that you were a beast on Madden and kick returns.
Yeah. Ooh, that's
he
nice.
dropped that in the chat.
Thanks, Melvin.
There's that 4.3 speed we know and love.
Yeah.
Madden knew.
Yeah.
Madden knew. It's
funny.
I did do some research here. I got Barry Church's. If you guys want any of those.
The Wonderlic?
I don't have his Wonderlic score. I do have his 40 time though.
Yeah. What was it?
4.69.
Oh!
He was 19 reps on the
4.69.
bench,
19 on bench, baby.
36 vert, and 10-1 broad. He weighed in a sleek 222.
Ooh, boy, lean and mean. Hey, listen. Anything over 15 on bench press is
that's legit.
That's legit.
That's what Josh does on a regular basis.
Bro, that's legit.
I told him earlier, I was like, 445, I do like 4 of them. 4 solid.
Get after it. I like it. All right, we got.
What did Larry Allen hit?
100.
Was it like 73 or something crazy like that?
Times 12.
Larry Allen, how many did he hit on bench?
At one point, he started doing it with one hand because he was like, "What am I even here for?"
Yeah.
Actually, we talked about this with Chris Hall the other day, and he said his combine wasn't great because he was coming off a pec injury, I believe. So it wasn't that great.
No, I'm talking about the Pro Bowl.
The Pro Bowl, he like shattered it. It was like
43 times.
Yeah.
Insanity.
Unbelievable.
That's stupid.
All right. That does it for us here on Talkin Cowboys. Hope you had some fun.
I was
with
halfway
us.
there.
We'll be back next week. We're going to break down what happens in the drills on the combine. Does it affect how the Cowboys are going to draft at 12? And
I'm half as strong as Larry
thereafter
Allen.
that, Isaiah's Wonderlic scores at 23. His bench rest at 22. His 40 was a 4.69.
No.
What? Is that insulting to say that it's a 4.69?
I'm a 4.3 guy. Don't
What
you
are you
put that on
saying
me.
here?
Don't you put that on me.
What are you saying? It's
Barry Church was a
insulting to
hitter.
have
He wasn't a speed guy. He was a hitter.
All right.
Put that evil
For
over
Isaiah
Bobby.
Stanback, for Josh Rodriguez, for Patrik Walker, Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long. We'll see you next time on Talkin Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?